In a quaint village, Marcus, a well-respected merchant, begins to suspect that his wife, Lila, is being unfaithful. For months, she has been acting distant, her behavior changing in ways he cannot ignore. He loves her deeply, but finds himself consumed by doubt. Instead of confronting her directly, Marcus devises a plan. He will fake blindness, hoping that Lila's guilt will reveal the truth. To Marcus, this isn't just about her betrayal, but also about understanding her true feelings. He starts by pretending to have trouble with his vision, visiting several doctors in town to convince everyone that his eyesight is failing. Lila appears concerned at first, but Marcus senses something unsettling in her reaction, a hesitation, as though she's more relieved than worried. He wonders if his plan will succeed, but he's committed now, blinded not by illness, but by the need to uncover the truth. Lila's demeanor shifts after Marcus fully embraces his act of blindness. At first, she is attentive and caring, guiding him around the house, helping him with everyday tasks. But soon, the cracks begin to show. Marcus overhears hushed conversations and catches the faint scent of another man's cologne on her clothes. His suspicions harden into certainty, yet he remains outwardly unaware, playing his role to perfection. Lila begins to grow bolder, coming home later and inventing flimsy excuses. Marcus pretends to be clueless, his blindness providing her with a false sense of security. Inside, however, Marcus's anger festers. He knows he could confront her, but something darker grows in his heart, a desire for revenge, not through violence or separation, but by making her live in the lie she thinks she's crafted so well. One afternoon, Marcus hears Lila talking on the phone, her voice dripping with affection for a man who is not him. The betrayal becomes clear as she whispers sweet nothings and laughs in a way she hasn't with Marcus for months. He listens quietly, the sound of her infidelity breaking his heart. But instead of letting his rage consume him, Marcus steels himself, deciding to continue his charade. He knows that confronting her now would give her an easy escape, so he suppresses his emotions and carefully plans his next moves. Marcus's heart aches, but he resolves to play the long game. He will stay blind to Lila's eyes, but in truth, his mind will see everything, and he will make her regret underestimating him. The first act of Marcus's revenge is subtle. He begins to ask Lila innocent questions, where she's been, who she's seen, while looking directly into her eyes, knowing full well she thinks he can't see her panicked expressions. He takes pleasure in her discomfort, watching as she fumbles through her lies, her confidence slowly cracking. At night, Marcus makes small changes around the house. He moves objects just slightly, enough to make her doubt herself. Lila begins to grow anxious, wondering if she's imagining things. Marcus plays along, always pretending to be none the wiser, heightening her sense of paranoia. One evening, Lila invites her lover, Damien, over, assuming that Marcus's blindness will shield their secret. Marcus feigns ignorance as Damien steps into their home, but he listens carefully to every word exchanged between them. They sit just feet away from him, their flirtations blatant and cruel. He can feel their disdain for him, but he remains calm, biding his time. Later, when Lila leaves the room, Damien tries to test Marcus's blindness by making sudden movements in front of his face. Marcus does not flinch, maintaining his facade perfectly. Inside, however, he relishes the fact that his deception is fooling them both. Damien leaves, none the wiser, and Marcus smiles to himself. As time passes, Lila begins to unravel. Marcus's subtle provocations, misplaced items, strange comments are getting under her skin. She starts to suspect that Marcus might not be as blind as he seems, but she has no proof. Every time she tries to catch him in a lie, Marcus plays his part flawlessly, acting helpless and oblivious. Lila's guilt begins to eat at her, and she grows more erratic in her behavior. She snaps at Marcus over small things and starts making mistakes with her lover, Damien, as well. Marcus watches it all unfold, satisfied that his silent accusations are driving her to the brink. One morning, Lila's stress reaches a breaking point. Over breakfast, she accuses Marcus of moving things around the house to confuse her. She yells at him, her face red with frustration. Marcus plays his role beautifully, looking at her with unseeing eyes and asking her what she's talking about. His calm demeanor only enrages her more, and she storms out of the house, leaving him alone. After she leaves, Marcus laughs to himself. He knows that he is winning this psychological battle. Lila is crumbling, and the more she unravels, the sweeter his revenge becomes. Lila's relationship with Damien begins to suffer. Her paranoia over Marcus's potential deception starts affecting her interactions with Damien, and he begins to lose patience with her. He grows distant, tired of the secrecy and the constant drama. One evening, Damien tells Lila that he's tired of the game. They should just leave Marcus and start a new life. Lila is terrified. Leaving Marcus means abandoning her comfortable life, and she knows Damien is not the stable man she thought he was. She refuses, and Damien, frustrated, begins to pull away. Marcus, listening to their arguments from the shadows, feels his revenge nearing its climax. Lila's life spirals out of control. Damien is growing more distant, and her guilt over betraying Marcus is consuming her. She starts spending more time alone, avoiding both men. Marcus, meanwhile, continues his quiet torment, making Lila question her own sanity at every turn. He asks her innocent questions about where she's been and listens carefully as she stumbles through her answers. As Lila's world shrinks, she begins to realize the gravity of her actions. Her lover is slipping away, and her husband, though blind, seems to be more present and aware than she had ever imagined. She starts to suspect that her life has become a trap of her own making. One night, overwhelmed by her mounting frustration, Lila confronts Marcus. She demands to know if he's truly blind or if he has been deceiving her all along. Marcus remains as composed as ever, maintaining his pretense and assuring her that he has never seen a thing. As Lila's anger reaches its peak, she breaks down completely, confessing everything. Her affair, her lies, her deep regret. Marcus listens in silence, his heart burdened with mixed emotions. He could expose the truth now, and the suffering, and walk away. Instead, he chooses to forgive her, calmly telling her that she must leave his home. The crushing weight of her guilt overwhelms Lila, and she comes to realize that she is truly ensnared by her own shame and Marcus's unspoken revenge. After Lila's confession, Damien decides to leave. He has grown weary of the tension and guilt, and he no longer wants to be entangled in Lila's troubled life. With Damien gone, Lila is left alone, abandoned by both her lover and her husband. Marcus has observed everything with a quiet satisfaction, understanding that Lila's punishment extends beyond losing her affair. The true consequence is the constant reminder of the life she has shattered.